Boys, we got a bleeder in aisle 6, ladies and gentlemen.
Stand on my pots. I'm drunk and I'm pissed.
For the best the poker world has to offer, subscribe to Poker Go now.
Your super high roller bowl 7 champion, Daniel McDreamy.
Oh, yeah.
Wheels are coming off.
That's the craziest hand I've ever seen.
The World Series of Poker, high stakes poker, no gamble, no future, and so much more.
What was that bite?
Sign up at PokerGo.com using promo code CardPlayer to get $20 off the first year of an annual subscription now.
Hi everyone, this is two-time World Poker Tour champion Jonathan Little, and I want to tell you about my training site, PokerCoaching.com. Poker coaching is the place to be if you want to increase your poker skills and learn to crush the games. It's the only place to quickly increase your win rate with active learning, so you can achieve your full poker potential without having to hire an expensive coach. Right now, podcast listeners can score a free membership by visiting pokercoaching.com/cardplayer and get access to top training tools like our interactive hand quizzes, our 7, 14, and 30-day challenges, and a roster of elite coaches such as Matt Affleck, James Romero, Burt DraftGanger Stevens, Michael Acevedo, and dozens of others. Again, that's pokercoaching.com/cardplayer to get your free membership right now.
By now, you've heard about Global Poker, one of the fastest growing online card rooms available in the US and Canada today. So what's stopping you from trying it out? Global Poker is a safe and secure social poker site that uses their own patented sweepstakes model. Signing up is easy. You can use Google, Facebook, or just an email address. You can always play for free on Global Poker, but you can also buy gold coins for additional play, which will earn sweeps coins that can be redeemed for real cash to a bank account, Skrill account, or even as a gift card. Get a free 5,000 gold coins when you sign up right now at globalpoker.com.
Poker Stories is an audio series that features casual interviews with some of the game's best players and personalities. Each episode highlights a well-known figure in the poker world and dives deep into their favorite tales, both on and off the felt.
Hello and welcome to Poker Stories, a podcast brought to you by Card Player, the poker authority, and hosted by me, Julio Rodriguez. This is episode number 153, featuring poker pro and content creator Alexander Saped, better known to his followers by his middle name of Wolfgang. After finding a huge audience with short-form videos on YouTube, Wolfgang's poker hand vlogs have become some of the most viewed poker content ever. He has posted more than 100 shorts that have already been viewed at least 1 million times each, and his most popular videos have been seen upwards of 85 million times each, and counting. Just last week, the 29-year-old earned the distinction of becoming poker's first ever vlogger to reach 1 million subscribers on YouTube. That puts him ahead of poker vlog king Brad Owen, ahead of the Japanese sensation Masato Yokosawa, and even ahead of one of the winningest players in history in Daniel McDreamy. In fact, the only poker YouTube channel with more subscribers than Wolfgang is PokerStars with 1.7 million. Keep in mind that PokerStars has more than 50 million registered users overall and has posted over 4,000 videos to their account since starting in 2009. Wolfgang, meanwhile, hit 1 million subscribers on less than 500 videos starting 10 years later. Of course, I wanted to find out just exactly how Wolfgang has managed to capture this new poker audience and what his plans are now that he has our attention. This was a fun interview and we got to talk a little bit about everything. Not only about his vlogging process and success, but also about his time before the game, serving coffees to dreamy celebrity doctors, while also getting fired from video shoots by Justin Bieber for being a little bit too much of a fan. Anyway, that's enough intro. Here is my conversation with Alexander Wolfgang Saped. I'm here with the one and only Wolfgang. Wolfgang, how you doing?
What's up, Julio? How's it going? Nice to
Great.
chat.
I mean, you're basically a new millionaire, right?
Yeah, I'm a millionaire, not in the dollar sense, but in the YouTube subscriber sense. Yeah, we just passed 1 million and we're growing fast. We're growing fast. We're approaching 1,030,000 subs already, so that's pretty.
That's
crazy.
right. I did see that 0.02 added on there. It seems so insignificant now, but that's still a ton of people, right?
It's crazy. I have to pinch myself and think back like 4 years ago when I started it. I was stoked to get like anywhere from 1,000 to 2,000 subs in a month, and now we're like doubling that in a day. But that's just the landscape that is YouTube right now. So you gotta get in where you fit in, and right now we're pioneering the shorts wave. So that's why we're seeing the growth that we're having.
Yeah, if you're listening to this podcast, you probably already know about Wolfgang and his, achievement of becoming poker's first content creator to get to 1 million subs on YouTube. Which seemed like it would never happen. I mean, we had 20 years post poker boom where we couldn't crack 100K for a while. So it's nice that our little niche industry is getting some more mainstream love.
Yeah.
I do want to go back to the beginning, though, before we get into all that. Talk about your story and how you got here. You're originally from Chicago?
That's correct. I was born in Chicago. I lived there for 18 years through high school, and then I really wanted to go somewhere warm, so I applied to a bunch of California schools. Really wanted to go to USC, but I got waitlisted, and my counselor's like, "Oh, you should check out this school that they used to film Zoe 101," and I'm like, never seen the show, not a Disney Channel kind of guy, but I'll apply there.
We do have to tell the listeners that you're 29 years old, so this is a little bit post-poker boom. I think you were 8, maybe 10 years old when Moneymaker won.
Yeah, honestly, that I mean, it's awesome that happened and stuff, and that created so many opportunities for people, but I don't even really know where I was at that time or anything. I couldn't tell you, honestly.
Yeah, it's a little rare to get somebody who's below 30 who's found themselves in the poker world, so this will be interesting. Let's see how you got there. So you're
so I moved to California, went to school there.
Before you get to Pepperdine, real quick, what were you up to in Chicago? What were your interests?
Oh, in Chicago, I was playing soccer like 5-6 days a week. I was on an academy team out there. For a long time, I thought that that's what I was gonna try to do, is like go pro in soccer. My dad signed me up for German school on the weekends because we're half German, and then my mom got jealous and signed me up for Ukrainian dance, which many people probably don't know about, but it's like this ethnic dance that I did. So my Saturdays, I had no Saturdays as a childhood. It was German school from 8 to 12, then Ukrainian dance from like 1 to 3, and then I had soccer in the night. So I had a pretty interesting childhood. It was awesome though.
That's eclectic, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, family's really.
Meanwhile, you're fighting the snow.
Yeah, not many people know about that. I don't think I've ever said that I did Ukrainian dance to anyone before, but people know that I'm German, obviously, with the middle name Wolfgang. But yeah, Chicago, I love the city. Probably will find myself back there at some point. I just don't know what age, I'll get back there to. But the cold weather doesn't bother me. I like it out there, and it makes the summers that much better. Poker is now starting to boom out there as well. Back when I was there, they just had these charity games, and then you'd have to drive up to Milwaukee to play or down to, I think it was Horseshoe Hammond down in Indiana to play. But now they have the Rivers. Now they have more games. They got Bally's is coming to Chicago. So it's Chicago, don't sleep on them for poker. They might even get a live stream at some point, word on the street is. So who knows?
Yeah, I mean, these days you have your pick anywhere in the country pretty much if you want to make it in poker. I remember, when I first started, it was Atlantic City, Vegas, or California, and now there's, so many other spots. You got Texas, where you are now.
It's great.
Which is booming. Florida boomed, and there's so many little spots popping up all over. So, okay, so you get to Pepperdine. Have you played poker by this point yet?
Yeah, so my origin with poker started when I was like 12 in my friend's basement in like northern Chicago. And yeah, we would play like once a month. I ended up winning a flip when I was like 12 years old. We all put in $5 and somehow I came ahead. I thought I was like a poker guru, but it was just like winning a flip. And then from there, it's like that funny story you tell people like, oh, I don't want my friend. Like when you bring a friend to Vegas for the first time and they win, it's actually like a bad thing because now they think that they're like some savant at like gambling. It's kind of like what happened with me. I'm like, oh, I won. Like this is easy. Like why would I need to work? And so I definitely
That's a common theme, honestly. Everyone I've interviewed, they won their first session. And I think Jean-Robert Ballon is the only person who lost and came back for more. So
see, it creates that like that itch inside of you to like feel that feeling again, or I don't know what it does, but yeah, I would play like once a month with my friends in Chicago. Then when I went to Pepperdine, it was a Christian school, so not many gamblers out there, but I found a few degenerates, in the weeds, and we ended up like on a few Saturdays every month, we drive up north to like Morongo, or down south to Morongo and up north to Chumash, up to these like Indian properties where you could play when you're 18. And that's where I really started playing more, is at those Indian ones, and specifically Chumash up in Santa Barbara. I hit quads with pocket sevens, so that's why everyone sees me always wear my pocket sevens hat, just because that was like the hand that, like, it took me from like, I wouldn't say it took me from 1-2 to 2-5, but it really gave me the confidence that like, oh my gosh, like you can actually make like decent money playing poker. I was still terrible back then and was not, of the caliber to play 2-5. But winning quads in a 2-5 game and making like almost $1,000, I was like, yeah, this is it. This is what I want to do.
Yeah, that's a feeling, right?
Uh-huh.
All right. So when did you decide to go back for more?
I mean, we were playing a bunch, in home games in Malibu, and then we were also like driving to those Indian casinos. And then when I graduated, it was like that decision point: do I go 9 to 5 cubicle, or do I kind of do something more obscure? And I started editing, actually, for a very large YouTuber at the time. I think he had 10 million subs. His name was Vitaly. He did like these prank videos. I'm sure a lot of people have heard of him. And so that kind of got me into the content creating space. And I was doing my own prank videos at the time, so I kind of blended the two. And yeah, I was editing, filming, doing all this stuff, and playing poker like a few times a week, just like because I love the game. And in LA at the time, the games were just really fun. At the 2-3 at the Bike was my like stomping ground, and like I think 2-3 at Hollywood Park as well. It's just awesome times. And they'd give you like $3 an hour. So back when I didn't have much money, I'd go there, get a meal, make some money. It was just like a dream. And then eventually I just started the channel, and I was like, yep, we're going into content creation.
Was that because of all you learned working for the Russian prankster?
He definitely helped a little bit in terms of just like trial and error and seeing what worked and what didn't. But I had some influences in terms of like who I watched on YouTube. So shout out to the Trooper. He was the OG person that I used to watch. I may not know much about the Moneymaker Boom and all that stuff, but I can date myself a little bit because I do know who the Trooper is. And then Andrew Nemi, I told it to his face, he's like probably my biggest inspiration, just because he took like what the Trooper was doing, but made it really cinematic and also did way more poker hands. And I was like, I really love watching these, so why can't I make these? Because the barrier to entry back then was knowing how to edit. Not many people knew how to edit, so you'd have to hire someone, which costs a lot of money. And for me, I already knew how to edit, so I'm like, I know how to play poker, albeit it was at a really, really bad level, but I know how to edit, and so let me just combine them and see if people like my videos as much as Andrew's. And they didn't like it at the same growth as Andrew's, but luckily I really liked what I was doing, and so even getting 1,000 or 2,000 views back then was enough to keep me going. But yeah, then eventually a few years down the road, now here we are, and things are just really going crazy.
Can I ask you about your relationship with YouTube in general? You are 10 years younger than me. I find myself these days basically watching YouTube for everything, but you grew up with it, right? Like it's basically your generation's main channel.
Yeah.
Like there wasn't really TV, as say, like, did you watch poker on TV ever?
No, not really. I mean, I also had a weird like growing up situation where my parents didn't buy cable. Like we fully were in the cable era, but they were just like never at home and watching TV. So I never was glued to that. So once I got a phone and stuff, yeah, then I was hopping on Instagram and YouTube and stuff. And YouTube's like really like a search engine as well. Like if I need to do something around the house and fix something, I just jump on YouTube, and I'm very visual. So I think, it's the best for me. And learning anything, like you can learn how to edit on YouTube. You can learn how to speak a different language. Like it's really just a powerful tool. But yeah, it's pretty much our generation's like the way that we consume content.
Yeah, it's very interesting how slow the poker industry has been to adapt, newer social media tools or, video sites like even Twitch. I mean, I remember when Jason Somerville started streaming on Twitch, it was revolutionary, right? Who was doing this? It's crazy, Yeah. And, now we've got dozens, if not hundreds of streamers going out there. Okay, so back to the story. Sorry, so you're you're editing for Vitaly. You decide to quit. Wait, real quick. What was the craziest video you had to edit for Vitaly?
Do you know anything about him?
I don't know. I have not taken that.
Oh, okay.
Deep
So
dive
people
yet.
out there that are listening, I'm sure there's tons of people that know who this guy is. But he got famous for two things. One, he does very crude and very like putting himself out there type of pranks. So one of the ones, I never edited this one, but this is what got him famous, is he would take Nutella and go to South Beach, Miami, and like offered $20 to like put Nutella on girls' butts and then lick it off. And
Okay,
so that
I have
was like,
seen this.
those, the Nutella and the booty pranks, those ones got him viral. And then he did a few of these like zombie pranks where he'd like dress up and scare people in the hallways. But then what my era with him was, he was doing some of the streaking. So he would run on to the Champions League final game, the NBA finals, the MLB World Series. He would streak onto those with some message on his chest. And he also had this girlfriend that would run onto like some of them as well, and she would get a lot of clicks. And so that was when I was really working for him, was his Miami days and then his like streaking days. But super cool guy, knew how to go viral for sure.
So you had to like frame by frame blur out his penis.
You never got to that point, but I did have to blur out some boobs one time, and that was kind of like at the end of when I was editing for him. It was getting a little bit raunchy, and also I was like getting a little bit over editing, just not even for him, just in general. I was like, I need to be in front of the camera, not behind it. But yeah, there was some like crazy things that I saw and stuff. But you can watch all the videos on YouTube. They're all out there.
All right, so you start your channel, and the goal is, hey, I just want to make enough to pay for my buy-in, right? My 1-3 buy-in, right?
Yeah, you did your research. Yeah, that's exactly what it was. Back then I was buying it for $300 at the 2-3 at the bike and 1-3 at Agua Caliente down in Palm Springs. If you guys have never been to Agua, huge, awesome spot. Love it down there. But yeah, I was like, okay, so back then I was losing, probably just as much as I was winning. And I was like, okay, if I could just free roll myself, so every time I sit down, I know that I'm at least covering my $300 loss. That would be awesome. And then if I won, it's like, free money.
Yeah.
That easier said than done, because in order to do that back then, you probably needed like 30K views on a video at like a 10 CPM, which is a little bit nerdy talk. For every 1,000 views, YouTube will pay you $10. Pre-tax, of course, so you probably need even more views than that. But 30K views is not as easy as it sounds to get. Like on shorts and stuff, that's not the same number. You need 30K vlog views approximately to make $300. So, and a lot of people now still like years into their channel are not getting 30K vlog views. So, yeah, it definitely took me a few years to get to that point, but that was the goal in the beginning, was like, okay, let's free roll my passion for poker and see if I can always just sit down and be a winner.
Yeah, worst case scenario, it's a fun rake back hobby. And, I assume you're also learning as you're playing, right? Because you're reviewing your hands. Mm-hmm. You're seeing where you made huge mistakes and even subconsciously getting better.
Exactly.
How cringy was it watching yourself back on those first few videos?
Yeah, I once in a while I'll just be in bed and I'll be like, oh, let me watch like my 5th video ever posted or my 3rd video, and I'm like, oh god, why did I choose like this kind of a setup? I had it so like, it was very McDreamy-esque. That's what it was. He was my inspiration. So what he would do is he would, after a session or in the middle of a session, he'd go outside the Bellagio and then film himself, but he'd put the camera down on like a bench and then he'd stand like 3 feet back. So I'm like, okay, he's doing that, I should do it too. So, but I did it inside of like this house or outside in like the garden or something, and it was just very like stiff. And because I'm not like a seasoned pro like he was, I was just getting into poker. My analysis is just absolutely rubbish. Like it's not anything anyone needs to like take home and implement into their game. So I probably definitely created a lot of losers in the beginning, which great for the ecosystem. There's my my giving back. But
there you go.
Once I finally transitioned to like doing the audio, through a microphone and not filming myself doing it, that's when it took a little bit more work. But it was definitely worth it in terms of like views and just like not cringe,
And you ended up hiring an editor, right?
Yeah, I've had 2 editors in 4 years. The first like year and a half or 100 videos that I posted, it was all me. I knew how to edit, did all that stuff on my own, got me like off the ground. And then I hired a guy named Gil, super cool guy in LA. and he took me for another year. And then this past year, I've worked with my guy Lucas out here in Texas. And yeah, he's a savant with all the short form stuff and just really, really good at what he does. So I always say, like, if you can afford to, you got to hire people that make that are better than you in any aspect. Not even just videos, like any business. Hire people that are better if you can afford to, because it just saves you so much stress, and like your quality will just go up tremendously.
Now, what was the first viral video that where you went, oh, okay, now this channel's got traction?
Yeah, I can remember it specifically. It was back in California. I was playing at Lake Elsinore, and I ran up a stack. I bought him for like 300, and I think I cashed out for like 2,800 or something gnarly. And I ended up filming it, posting it. I did the audio in the background, didn't do that cringy thing, and it just went parabolic. Like back then, I was probably getting 5 or 10K views on a vlog, and I think this video got like 120K views, to the point that other creators that started before me were messaging me like, "Oh, did you pay for like sponsored ads and all this kind of stuff to get more views?" And I'm like, "No, it's just." That's when I realized that how powerful the algorithm was. Now there's a double-edged sword there, because it did so well, and it was poker was just such a new space in the YouTube platform. They took my video down. They literally, like, a month after posting it, I got some subs, but not like a crazy amount, and they just stopped all the growth. Who knows? That video could have gotten over 1 million views. Like, I have no idea. Yeah. They just took it down because they're like, "This is gambling. It's illegal. We're going to give you a copyright strike." And I tried to appeal it, and they're like, "Nope, we're not giving that back to you." So it was kind of like an awesome month, and then afterwards I was just like, well, this sucks. Now I got it was just horrible. I was like, no, this is shitty. Are all my videos that do well going to get taken down? Is this like an actual means to an end here? Can I make YouTube videos for a living? Or am I going to be constantly like scared that YouTube's just going to be like, okay, nope, no, this video is like too much gambling. It's bad for the audience, and pull the plug. You know what I mean?
Well, that's what I was going to ask. What is YouTube's, attitude towards poker channels or gambling channels in general? There's hundreds and hundreds of them, so obviously it's not like they're restricting them.
So this was back in 2020-ish, and so they've changed now, and they're super cool with it. But in the beginning of every platform, TikTok included, they just don't understand gambling. I've lost it. So I lost that video on YouTube, but more severe than that, I actually lost a TikTok page with 200,000 followers. My original Wolfgang poker page is just like no more, because they didn't understand like all the live streams I was doing about poker and like the content I was posting. And they would give you warnings like, "Hey, don't post this anymore, blah, 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 blah." But I'm like, I'm not doing anything wrong. So I just kept posting. And eventually one day they're like, "Your page is permanently deleted." And I'm like, well, screw this. Yeah,
I remember the next gen guys were dominating over on TikTok for a little while. And I guess they had to take it down too, right?
They still have their page, but TikTok luckily has come around and like been accepting now to poker content. But there just seems like no path for me to get my page back, which is a bummer. But yeah, next gen and I, back like a year and a half ago, were like the pioneers of TikTok, really. And so we would take our long form stuff and cut it vertically, and then edit on the platform and post it there. And we were, just because we were the only ones doing it, we would get insane views, like hundreds of thousands back then, when that was like unheard of. Like when 100K was the ceiling, we were getting like 200, 300,000 views. And yeah, when they broke 100K followers, that's like what really showed me like, okay, there's an audience for this past like my 20K views I'm getting on YouTube, like there's really like a ceiling here that I didn't think was that high.
So the shorts, you take those shorts over to YouTube, they do well, and then you decide to just start pumping those out?
Yeah, so what happened was when I picked up Lucas, my current editor, he was like, "Great job with TikTok, you did something good there, but I think I can do it better." And he's editing on Adobe Premiere, and he's doing AI, and he's doing motion effects and blurs and all this stuff that would take me like 7 hours to make a 1-minute video. And he's got it down to a science now, and he really like ran with it. I just gave him complete creative freedom. I trusted him, and that's why like having a friendship with like someone that you work with is huge, because we could just bounce things back and forth, and I trusted him enough just to like, sometimes like I won't even have any like say in terms of the script. I'm like, here's the piece of content, you do what you want with it, because usually you do a great job. And some of those are the most viral videos. So yeah, he goes crazy on it. I think he spends like 3 to 4 hours on a 1-minute video, but it shows, and it's definitely getting the views.
What's your top video right now? Where's it at?
Let me click over to it. Let's see. Shorts. by views. We have 2 videos over 80 million. We have an 83.2 million viewed video and an 84.4 million viewed video, which is pretty crazy. And currently we are gaining 5 million views every 2 days just on my channel. So yeah, that's the current scope of it. But those 2 videos, like everyone asks, like, oh, what were those 2 80 million videos about? Nothing crazy, honestly. I got Pocket Jacks in Lubbock, Texas, and I won a $1,700 pot. And then the other one, I think it was Pocket Kings. Yeah, I think I had Pocket Kings, and I got it in and scooped a 2K pot. So nothing crazy. It just shows, like, sometimes randomly, like, the algorithm will be like, this is a good piece of content for whatever reason, and then it just pushes it out to people.
Yeah, my daughter begged us for a YouTube channel when she was 6, and I agreed as long as she would learn something. So she plays her bass and drums on the channel. And, she celebrates when she gets 1 new subscriber every other month. But, I noticed that whenever she posted a short, it would spike real crazy. It would get like 100 views in an hour and then 0 after that. And I was like, that seems like weird behavior for...
Do you want to know what that's about?
Yeah, I would love to know.
Yeah, so what the algorithm is specifically, like with short form content, what it does is it'll show your piece of content to a certain audience size. So let's say 100 people. And then based on how those 100 people engage with it, meaning how long they watch, do they hit the like button, are they commenting, are they sharing it with friends or to a text message, right? Based on how much engagement it gets, they're going to show it to a new batch of people. If it does well, they're probably going to show it to 1,000 people next. And they do this in a very fast way to the point that they can scale it up really fast if it's a great video. And unfortunately for your daughter, it appears, they can shut it down really fast if they realize.
Well, obviously,
yeah,
an 8-year-old putting bass covers.
No, I'm not going to go bring a little humor to it. But
it was interesting to see though, like where the traffic comes from, and when it does spike like that, it's because YouTube is suggesting it, right? So it's going. So is there a way to make YouTube push your videos better? Is there like a keyword you throw in there? Have you found little tricks as far as gaming the system or gaming the algorithm?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't call it gaming the algorithm, but in terms of just like giving it what it wants, the algorithm really wants a high click-through rate. What does that mean? When the content thumbnail is shown to a viewer, how often are they clicking on it? That's really huge. That's why titles and thumbnails are big, because that's the first thing. That's like a billboard. You're driving on the highway, that's what you see. Do you click on it? Do you not click on it, right? And then after that, it's view durations. You always want to have something in the beginning alluding to something at the end. So for instance, I'm doing my 12 Days of Wolfmas challenge right now. I'm filming for it in December. And basically what that is I play 12 sessions and I make some money, hopefully, and I give all that away as like a Christmas gift to like 5 people. And but the point of this is, at the end, what I say is the way that you qualify for the giveaway is you have to comment the keyword that I give you in my outro. So the people have to watch it for 15 minutes, or they can just click to the end or read the other comments and see what the keyword is. But that's doing 2 things. It's getting people to have a high view duration, and it's also having people to engage with my content. So, I'm giving away money, but the least they can do is, help the video do a little bit better. So that's huge. Yes, you kind of do want to play with the algorithm a little bit. You don't want to have like these really bad titles and thumbnails. But I mean, like, you can do as much as you want on YouTube or as little as you want. Like, there's some content creators that it looks like to me don't put very much effort into thumbnails, titles, and descriptions and stuff, and they still do really well. And so at the end of the day, if you have really bad videos, they're not going to do good, and all the titles and the thumbnails aren't going to help you. And likewise, if you have really good videos and you don't give a crap about any of the schmoozing with YouTube, then they're still going to perform well. But if you can do both, if you can make really good videos and then also have really good titles and thumbnails and descriptions, aka Mr. Beast, then bang, now you're getting billions of views. And I think that's the sweet spot.
What's the peak, do you think, for poker? Obviously, you're never going to get Mr. Beast numbers, but there's a market for poker content watchers that is bigger than I think we all originally thought.
I mean, just based on what I said 2 minutes ago, you asked me what my highest view video was. Would anyone in the poker world ever expect someone to post something and get viewed 84 million times, and it's only poker? It's not like anything other than just me playing a hand. Like, that's absurd. So I don't really know what the ceiling is, but I'm gonna find out. Like, I'm gonna be the guy that continues to post, and you know, I'm gaining 4,000 subs a day right now, or around. I mean, I'm looking at my thing right now. In the last 28 days, I gained 170,000 subs, and I got 98 million views. So, like, I mean, the ceiling is wide open. Like, who knows how many more people are coming into the space every day? How many more home games are starting because people see me playing with someone like. Last week I played with some NFL players, and that video got shared by a lot of other random pages. So now a lot of people that are fantasy football fans that have these two players on their team, maybe they never heard of poker, but now they see their favorite player playing in a poker game, and they're like, wait a second, I want to be like him. I'm going to play poker too. So, like, that's the thing. It's like, how many new people are coming into the space every day because of people like myself, Mariano, Rampage, Andrew Nemi, that are posting videos and bringing in the next generation. That's really where we're going to see like another boom, in my opinion. And I think there's no coincidence between myself getting more views on YouTube and then like these tournament series hitting their all-time highs, like the WSOP main event that I played in, all-time high, and this one out in Florida in Miami that just happened. They had just a record number of entrants. There's 100% correlation between content being posted and social media and that happening. There's no debate about that.
Let's talk about that, and specifically the influence that you or the other top poker content creators have in this industry, because I think we have a lot of us old timers, I'm pushing 40 now, in the industry, have a very antiquated view over what will drive clicks, what will get people to sign up for online poker sites, what will get people's butts in card rooms, right? What's more valuable to a card room or an online poker site? A 17-time bracelet winner who has no social media presence, or a 29-year-old who understands the algorithm? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. So I'm trying to be careful about how I say this without coming.
You could be diplomatic about it. You know.
Yeah, I don't want to come off as conceited or you know, think I'm the shit or something. The simple answer is it's 100% the vlogger. There's so many examples I could give. Like, I don't want to put anyone on blast or anything because their accomplishments are insane and they're more than I have, right? So if you won the main event, that's insane. I'll probably never do that, right? But some main event winner did a meetup game at the Hustler, and I think he got 3 tables. And 3 tables meaning like 9 people at each table with a list. That's awesome. Like, I mean, that's huge. I did a meetup game there, and I got 7 tables. So, and I didn't win the main event. So it just shows that. Or I'll go to like some random town like El Paso, or Phoenix isn't a random town, but it's a small one, right? And I'll get like 5-6 tables there. In El Paso, I'll get 3 tables in El Paso. You know what I mean? So it's like that people they resonate more, and I think it's just because I'm playing the 1-2 stakes on videos and 2-5 and these like relatable things, and I'm posting every single day. So it's like it's like they're seeing my content every day, and they're becoming part of my like YouTube family. Whereas it's awesome this guy won the main event, or he has like 17 bracelets or something. But if they're not watching him every day play and like feeling a part of his life and like his journey, and they know about his dog and his girlfriend and where he eats and all this kind of stuff, it's less of a connection. So they feel less inclined to come out to card rooms and stuff. And that's why you see all these meetup games and like how big it is like here in Texas. When anyone does a meetup game, like, man, you can get over 10 tables of people, like hundreds of people show up, and like these wait lists at these meetup games are insane. So yeah, that's my stance on it. But
well, you brought up relatability, right? The fact that you're doing this 12 Days of Christmas promotion, basically slumming it, right, at the low stakes, because these days you're obviously playing a bigger game than when you first started out. Yeah, but people want to see 1-3 hands. They want to see 2-5 hands because that's what we play, right? We don't want to see high-level 50-100 poker that we don't understand.
Yeah, that's 100% correct. And I mean, outside of making content, I don't think I would be playing 10-25 and 25-50 like I have been this past 6 months. It's more just for content and getting some like really cool thumbnails and saying I played a 10K pot or 30K bluff or whatever happens. That's really cool for clicks and all, but I get the tingles when I'm filming this challenge right now, and I go sit down at a 1-2 table and 3 people there like amazed that I'm playing 1-2 still, and they want to take a picture, and like that makes me really happy. And then it shows also in the views. Like most of my shorts, if you go through them, are not these absurdly high stake shorts that they don't need to be a 1K, 2K pot. Like a lot of them are just like these $300 pots, and they'll get 1 million views. So it just shows you got to give the people what they want to watch. And sometimes it's not the 1025 at TCH or the 2550 at the Hustler every time. I love playing those because it's just great games and great for content. But people are watching my videos to either be entertained or get better in their own game, like on the drive to the casino. And the bluffs I'm pulling or the value I'm getting at a 1025 game is just not applicable to 1-2. Like, you don't need to be bluffing that much at 1-2. Just make a hand, go for 3 streets, go for thin value, and then when someone raises you, you probably can fold. So, like, occasionally I'll throw in some, like, 1-2 vlogs, and they'll get 100K vlog views, which is very, very good, and it kind of blows my mind sometimes that, like, I put all this effort into flying down to, like, Houston or Vegas or LA, and then that video will cap out at, like, 50K vlog views, and then I'll just randomly one day be like, I want to play, like, 1-2 and just grind up a $300 stack. And because I title it How to Beat Low Stakes, and there's a few tips in there, it gets like 120K views, and I'm like, I need to do more of that.
Yeah, just a matter of striking wherever the traffic is. Let's see. You have 2 cameras at once while you film?
Occasionally, if I'm really behind on short content. So the thing is, I have to film. Imagine an iPhone horizontally. That's how I film vlogs. Now imagine the iPhone turned vertically. That's how I film shorts. So once a week I dedicate to filming shorts, and I only go there and film vertically, and I take notes on that. Sometimes I don't do that once a week thing, and I get a little bit crunched because I'm posting 4 or 5 times a week shorts, and you run through your content pretty fast, and so I'll have to film a vlog and a short at the exact same time sometimes. So I need 2 phones and 2 stands and 2 sets of notes, and it's just it's pretty crazy.
How many hands are you getting per session usually?
For a vlog, I'll usually get like somewhere between 8 and 12 hands, but those vlog hands aren't always great for shorts, and it's hard to explain why,
okay.
But like sometimes the vlog hands are just a little bit filler or just mundane things, whereas shorts always have to make it to the river. There has to be a big bluff. It has to be a good starting hand. There's a few other intricacies that make a short really good, so when I play 12 vlog hands, I probably only can pull like 3 or 4 shorts out of that.
Can you tell me about your Pokemon card protector?
Yeah, I'm actually looking at him right now. He's staring me in the eye. His name's Mudkip. I got him as a gift from a guy down in Austin, and his name was Aaron. I was playing on the TCH live stream back then. It was a 2-5, and back then everyone had Pokemons on their stacks, and basically it was a game with inside the game. So if you stack someone, you get their Pokemon, and vice versa. He's like, I can't let you be the only guy to not have a Pokemon. I didn't come prepared, whatever. No one told me. He gave me the Mudkip, and I was like, okay, that's cool. I put it on my stack. I think I ended up winning that session, never got stacked, and then he always just became a part of the videos once people were commenting about him, and then once I started including him in the shorts, it just went super viral because all the younger generation obviously knows Pokemon, and they thought it was super cool, and it was just getting a lot of engagement. Like, people were commenting about my card protector of all things, which was boosting the video even more. So it was like a no-brainer. Yeah.
Do you know who Greg Raymer is?
Yeah, I've seen him. I haven't talked to him, but I saw him one time outside of the win. Yeah.
It's just interesting that we went from his fossils as a card protector, when he won the main event, to the Pokemon characters. Those are fun.
Yeah, now a lot of people are here in Texas specifically, they're buying Pokemon card protectors, and I've signed a bunch of them. So I think I'm starting the Pokemon wave back up. It's kind of funny.
And listen, and that 100% is going to be attributed to you and your generation. There's no one's going to be giving Danny Negreanu and Phil Hellmuth credit for those. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Shout out to Negreanu, by the way, who's, pushing the senior status and is still being a content creator himself.
Yeah, what a legend. I'm probably going to meet him for the first time here in a week. I'm going down to the Bahamas, and he's obviously been on the forefront of promoting, WSOP and GG and all that.
Oh, you're going down for the winter series, huh?
I'm going there for 10 days, playing a few tournaments, playing some cash games, filming some shorts, having a pina colada. It should be a good time.
You did mention you cashed in this year's main event, but other than that, not a lot of tournament played, right? It's not really on your...
No, it's just you gotta really dedicate yourself to that if you want to be good, and the amount of travel and just time investment is insane. And for videos, I think of myself as a content creator first, and for videos it just really doesn't perform well. It will perform well if you can guarantee you're going to make a final table. But as we all know, how often does that happen? So now imagine you play 2 days, you're filming, you're recording, you're taking notes, and you're trying to make sure you capture everything, and then just to min cash or bust, and then you post the video and it does half as good as a vlog that takes 3 hours. I mean, that's just really where my lack of desire to play a tournament series has come from. Now, will I always fire the main event and go to Vegas for like 2 weeks in the summer? Yes. Will I travel to like really cool destinations because they make for a good lifestyle mixed with poker? Absolutely. Like, I haven't been to Malta, but that sounds like somewhere cool. I haven't been to Australia. That sounds like somewhere cool that I could document and like show that side of the world. So in terms of grinding tournament series, nope, that's not going to happen. But like if someone, says, hey, we got this main event in, Sydney, Australia, and they got 2 other cool events leading up to it, sure, I'll go out there for 2 weeks and make a few videos, like, or take my shot.
Who are your favorite poker content creators? You mentioned Nemi, obviously, was your inspiration.
Yeah, him and Trooper were the OG inspirations. I mean, everyone that everyone watches, I've seen. I'm such a junkie when it comes to that. Sometimes I'll get burnt out with my own stuff that I just won't watch poker vlogs for like a few weeks. But like last night, I binged for like 2 hours, just up and coming people. Me, Ethan, and Mariano had this thing where we would we'd go on YouTube and try to find, when we were together, we would like try to find like up and coming people and like just watch their videos and kind of just like see what they're doing and like reflect on like where we were a few years ago and stuff. So I think that's always pretty cool. I just type in poker randomly on YouTube and I'll scroll to like a few pages down and find like a 1K view video and just see like, what the new generation is coming up with or what inspirations they're drawing from our stuff. But other people that I like watching, I mean, I always like to watch Jeff Boski about the tournament stuff back in the day. Haven't watched him in a minute though.
I just had him on the podcast.
Yeah, he's a super cool guy. I met him once at the South Point. Actually, funny story with him. Him, and Rampage were together, and I went over to Shake Shack or whatever that burger place is in the South Point. And
Steak and Shake.
Steak and Shake, yeah. So he was playing, and we were a little bit late, so he already sat down at the table. And then we're like, oh, let's go to Steak and Shake. So he leaves his table and goes over to Steak and Shake, enjoying our meal, having a good time. And then we just hear yelling coming from the poker room, and they hit the jackpot. And so basically what it was at the time was a room share. So his table, and to make matters worse, we walk over there, his table hit the jackpot. Now here's the thing.
No.
Yeah, here's the thing though. Him not being there caused the jackpot to hit, right? Because if he's there, the card distribution is different. However, you can't tell someone like, that you weren't entitled to that piece. So he felt a little bit, it was pretty funny. Me and Ethan were cracking up because, if we were sitting in the room, me and Ethan would have got a few $100. But I think Boski missed out on maybe 5 figures in terms of the table share. But yeah, that's my funny Boski story.
That's funny. Yeah, and you mentioned some names there, Ethan, Rampage for the casual listeners.
He's the best dude ever.
He went the tournament route though.
What's that?
He went the tournament route with his vlogs. And
yeah, he got a bug, and we chat about it a bunch. Whenever he sees me play a tournament, he's like, oh god, here it comes, because he anticipates me just going all in like he did. Because they are very addicting. Luckily for me though, and I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, I just really haven't, other than the main event, that was probably the coolest experience I had making day 4, but I just haven't had any like final tables or anything like really significant that would get me like to give up playing cash. And so yeah, but he's a sicko. I think yesterday he fired 100K in entries down in Florida. I was watching his stories, but it's when you go into that, you got to go all in. And he puts in the work off the felt. A lot of people don't see it. So
yeah, then Mariano's doing the highest stakes, biggest pots in Hustler history. Some of these pots are gigantic. Is that somewhere you'd like to see yourself one day? Is playing the biggest games around?
Yeah, I've definitely taken a leap in the last 6 months. I mean, 6 months ago, I would be scared to play 510 on stream, and now this year I played 50, 100 with Brad Owen and Andrew Nemi down at the lodge. So I've definitely taken that leap. I just I need to go back out to the Hustler and just go there for a week and play Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and just like prove to people that I'm not just a content creator, that I actually can like make a few plays and hold my own. Because as many streams as I play out here in like Texas, it's still Texas, so people have that connotation like it's really soft and like it's not getting the same amount of views as like the Hustler. So I have an open invitation from Ryan, the producer of the Hustler Casino Live, to go there whenever I want. And I think I'm going to take him up on that early 2024. And I played Max Payne Monday 3 times with DJF and Sashimi and all them, but that's more of a fun game. And like the Wednesdays, the Thursday, Friday ones are more high level poker and bigger stakes. So yeah, definitely in the near future.
We got some rapid fire questions to close it out here if you're ready.
Fire.
Can you talk about this teacher that complained about being outed in a viral video?
Yeah, so that's actually, I think, the 80 million view video, so RIP to him. But basically, yeah, we filmed content. I had permission from the owner of the room. And basically, I filmed the hand. I got all in. I think I stacked them. I filmed. Everyone was chatting with me about my channel and stuff, so he definitely knew I was filming. Like, I have two phones out. Like, it's pretty obvious. And then we edited it, posted it. It was getting tons of views, and then people were commenting before he even reached out to the card owner. People were commenting like, "Oh, that's Mr. Smith," and "Oh, that's Mr. Jones," whatever his name was. He's my teacher, and I was like, "Oh God, here it comes." And sure enough, the owner texts me, and he's like, "Hey, the guy that's in your video, he's just not too happy. He was wearing like his school sweater, crew neck or whatever, and a lot of people are recognizing him, and like, it didn't probably help that I stacked him in the hand or whatever." And he lost some money, but that's just the nature of the beast. Like, so many people come up to me and they're like, "Oh yeah, like 7 people texted me this past week, and a few of them I haven't seen in like years, and they're texting me they saw me on like YouTube or Instagram," and I'm like, that's just pretty cool, honestly. But for him, apparently it wasn't pretty cool, and now he's in this podcast. He's in my 1 million video. I talked about him there, and he's getting a couple 100,000 views a day still on that video. So it's tough.
Well, yeah, shouldn't have worn your school sweatshirt at the poker table.
Yeah, I guess so.
Do you have any hidden talents other than Ukrainian dancing?
Hidden talents. I'm
that
really
was
good
a pretty
at darts.
big one.
I'm really good at darts and beer pong. I don't know where that came from, but darts and beer pong, hidden talents. I'm decent at soccer. I mean, obviously the cardio has gone down, but I played soccer all growing up and then 4 years in college, so hidden talent there.
Oh, you played at Pepperdine.
Yeah, so because of Title IX, which if people don't know, you have to have equal opportunity for men and women. There wasn't a D1 team. However, our team was filthy. Like, we were really good. We play against UCLA, USC, UC Santa Barbara, so definitely a really good high quality team. But I played academy in Chicago, and then I really wanted to go like D2 for soccer, and then ended up playing 4 years club at Pepperdine.
Did you have a glory moment on the field or a crazy game?
Oh, I've had so many funny. Quickly, I got a red card in high school for pantsing a kid. I got what else happened? Yeah, I got in a fist fight with this Hispanic team down on the south side of Chicago. Probably not smart. I scored a game winner at a team's homecoming game in Chicago, like a game-winning header. Growing up, my dad was the coach of the team, and we were winning. It was AYSO. We were winning too much. I scored like 4 goals on our side, and then AYSO back then, you could switch the player onto the other team, and so he switched me onto the other team to make it more fair, and then I ended up scoring like 3 more goals against our team. There's just a bunch of funny stories with soccer. It's the best sport, honestly.
That's awesome. Best shot you ever took?
Like alcohol or like poker?
Gambling wise, but I'll take the alcohol answer too.
I don't know. I used to be big into Jaeger when I lived in Germany for a year in college, but now it's probably just something straight. Like if someone offers me a shot, vodka or tequila. In terms of poker, the biggest shot I ever take was biggest and best was the 50-100 game I got invited to at the lodge. Skull Mike reached out to me and he's like, "Yo, we got this game. Andrew's there, Brad's there, Mariano's coming." I was like, "Sign me up." I didn't even know what the stakes were, and he's like, "It's 50-100." I'm like, I've never played 50-100 before. I played 25-50 and the 100 straddle was on occasionally, but 50-100 means the 200 is going to be on. And the last half an hour got absolutely absurd, but it was the best experience ever. I actually teared up in my outro filming that video because I won $26K, which was my biggest win by far. And that was only like 6 months ago. So yeah, even from then to now, I've come a long ways, but that was definitely a huge leap. And then when I came back to Dallas and I was getting hit up for the 25-50 and the 10-25 streams, I was like, it was a I don't want to say a walk in the park, but it definitely felt like a lot easier, you know.
What about your biggest punt?
Biggest punt. See, I'm not the biggest punter like Rampage, you know.
Shots
You know,
fired.
yeah. What would be my biggest punt? I lost 20K at TCH. It wasn't a punt. I got it in good. I can think more of my biggest losses than biggest punts. I mean, if I'm ever, oh yeah, I actually did punt. I punted 10K at this place in Houston called Champions about 2 weeks ago. I tried to bluff it off with Jack 10 offsuit. I 3-bet pre out of the small blind, and then I went bet on the flop, ripped the turn, and some guy called me, soul read me with fourth pair and just held. So I had so many outs. Any 10, any jack, any queen, and any 7 I would have scooped, and instead I lost 13K pot or something.
Hopefully it made a decent short though.
No shorts because I'm not allowed to film shorts at the table there, but I did make a good vlog. It's actually my most recent one right now.
All right, check it out if you're listening. On a scale of 1 to 10, how normal do you think you are? 10 being
normal.
the most normal.
That is a very relative term because everyone's version of normal is different. I would say that I'm not very normal. I would say that I'm definitely quirky and spontaneous and stuff like that. So I'd say maybe like how normal. I'd probably put myself right at a 5. Like I definitely have my normal moments and like very chill, but I can be kind of kooky too.
What about your most prized possession?
Prized possession, man. That's a great question.
The house is on fire. What are you grabbing?
What am I grabbing? I'm probably grabbing Mudkip if it's poker related. If it's not poker related, I have a huge sports card and Pokemon card collection that probably would get grabbed. And then I'm going to the Bahamas. I'm really big into like memorabilia, obviously. So I'm going to the Bahamas and I'm getting a few jerseys signed of the people that are going there. So I don't have them yet, but I'm anticipating getting those signed. So those would for sure get grabbed. Yeah.
What kind of jerseys are we talking here? Who are you looking at?
So Tony Parker's going down there. So I just bought a Spurs jersey to get signed. And then on the tangent of soccer, Sergio Aguero, the Man City legend, Argentinian, I bought his jersey yesterday. So hopefully I can get that signed as well. I had the pleasure of running into Neymar in Paris, but I didn't have a jersey on me. So that was kind of...
That would have been cool.
That would have been cool. But luckily, he's a degenerate just like us. So yeah, I'm sure I'll run into him at some point again.
He'll be back. Speaking of poker celebrities, I saw you in pictures with Sam Farha and Scotty Wynn. Who are the people you've gotten to play with that made you a little starstruck?
Yeah, all those people you just mentioned. Scotty was just a crazy cool time in Ohio. Farha was down in Houston. That was really cool. I've back when I was first starting the channel, I didn't talk to, but I saw Phil Hellmuth at the bike. I saw Tony Esfandiari. Oh, I have a cool story. I actually did meet Tom Dwan and play with him at the Aria in like a 25-50 private game. So that would probably be my coolest person that I've met. That's like a legend. Like everyone knows Tom.
That's cool.
And he was just such a genuine guy. He actually like wanted to chat with me like via text about like shorts and stuff. So the next day I was telling him about shorts. It's just, that's just pretty crazy. Because he was honestly, I would tell everyone back in the day, he was my favorite player. So just to be at the same table as him was nuts.
Shout out to Tom. It's been a minute since we spoke. Maybe I'll have him on the podcast. Do you think Phil Hellmuth knows who you are?
Yeah, that dude. You see the way he posts so much on social media and he loves his like selfies and stuff. There's no way with the social media presence that I have that he hasn't at least seen a video, or if he doesn't know my name, he hasn't seen Mudkip in a video or something. But if for some reason he hasn't, Phil, let's get together. Let's make some content.
Crazy, right? Phil, how do you not have a YouTube channel, Phil?
Nah, he's got his hand in so many investments. Maybe he could just hire someone to follow him around and edit the videos, but I don't know. If he already gets so much publicity from like you guys and Twitter and everyone sharing his stuff when he makes like entrances at the main event and stuff. So I don't know. He already has his niche.
Biggest pot you ever won or lost? Your choice.
Biggest pot I won was $29,000 this year at the Tropicana. I ended up turning the flush against a flopped Broadway straight, and we got it in, and it was unbelievable.
It's a nice feeling. You have him dead.
Yeah, that was pretty great. He put me into the tank. He used his time extension chips, and I was like, please call, please call, please call. And then he did. He's like, oh, I guess I'm going home if I'm wrong. And he calls, and I'm like, yep, you are going home.
What about the best swap or piece you've ever had of anybody?
Great story, and I snap
Okay,
answer
cool.
for that. It's I backed Ethan in the $1 million game. I backed him for, what was it? I had 1.5% or something like that. So he ended up winning a ton of money in that huge bluff that everyone knows about, where he bluffed into top set of queens or something, and he ended up making a ton of money, and I made like 18K in that. It was pretty crazy, just on my piece ahead of him.
Were you watching that hand live and just like?
Oh, no, so that's where the story gets even funnier too. I had so much work to do in terms of like getting an audio out for my editor, and so I had some friends in the other room, and I was like, just let me know if Ethan's doing anything crazy, if he gets to the turn or the river, because obviously that's my money on the line too. And I'm doing my audio, and I'm like in between like this really big spot I'm trying to dissect. I just hear like from the other room, this guy Alvin, my poker coach, he was in the other room, and he goes, Ethan, he's just bluffing at a top set on the river, and he just went all in. And I'm like, my heart sank. I'm like, no. So I run into the other room, and I'm like sweating it out there. I'm like stoic. I'm like a mummy. I'm like, oh God, like there's no way this dude folds. And he folds, and I literally, there's a video of me. I'm just like fist pumping the air. I'm like, yes. Because essentially, that was like a 30, 40K swing for me. I'm either down 15K or I'm up 15K. And so I was like, that was unbelievable. And then I went back to doing my audio, and I'm like, and now we shove all in for $300.
You have to calm your voice down.
Yeah.
What was your largest non-poker wager?
Largest non-poker wager. I had not bad, but I had a sports betting degen phase in college that I don't bet on sports anymore now. Only if I'm at a game, I'll throw a few $100. But back then in college, I think I put, which was a ton of money for me back then, I think I put over $1,000 on a game. I think I put 2K on. I remember it. It was an Arizona Cardinals playoff game in the NFL playoffs, and I put like 2K on the game, and they won. Yep, they won.
So there you go. At least you got out.
I think it was back when Kurt Warner was the quarterback or something, and they had like Larry Fitzgerald. Yeah, that was pretty crazy. And I didn't tell anyone. I was in the room with like all my college friends, and they had like $30 on the game, and I just didn't say anything. I was like, yeah, I got some money on it. I was like, I didn't want to eat. I didn't want to drink. I was just glued to the couch.
What was your worst job before poker?
This is like gonna be a bad answer because it's gonna come off like I haven't worked a day in my life, but I didn't have any bad jobs. I've only worked 2 like real like clock in clock out type of thing, and one was an ice cream shop in Chicago when I was in high school for 2 years, and then my favorite job was Sun Life Organics out in California, in Malibu specifically. I worked at a smoothie bar, juice bar, and that was awesome because like famous people would come into Malibu all the time. I never had a bad job. Other than that, I did some soccer coaching, and then I almost took a job when YouTube wasn't paying anything in that first year. I almost took a job to sell massage chairs out in like the valley somewhere in California, and that probably would have been my worst job. But luckily, I didn't have to take it because something happened in poker, and we thought otherwise of it. But yeah, I'm kind of proud to say I've never had a LinkedIn, and I've never had to succumb to a 9-to-5 like a job like that. So it's kind of like, I was a little bit stubborn at first. I'm like, I'm not getting a LinkedIn. Like, I kind of want to make it without it, that kind of a thing. But then luckily, somehow it worked out well for me.
Well, luckily I haven't had a LinkedIn either, but I got hired at Card Player right out of college, so
yeah,
it worked out for me. Well, who was the famous people that you served at the smoothie bar?
Oh, okay, yeah. So Joakim Noah was there from the Bulls, obviously in Florida.
Yeah,
I'm Derek Lee.
I'm a Gator myself. I went to Florida, so.
Oh yeah, you love Joakim Noah, and coming from Chicago, I loved him as well. So when he walked in, I almost like shit my pants. I'm like, I mean, first off, he just looks like a god, and then second off, like it's Joakim Noah. Derek Lee from the Cubs was there. Ryan Braun I met. Who else walked in? Oh, Miley Cyrus came in. I saw Tyga out there. And then, funny enough, I didn't know who he was, but I was just buddies with him because I made his morning smoothie every day. But the guy that goes by Mr. McDreamy, what's his name from that?
Oh, from Grey's Anatomy.
Patrick Dempsey. Patrick Dempsey would come in like almost every one of my morning shifts because I got there at like 6 a.m. And he would order the same smoothie, and I just knew him as Patrick, a good-looking, calm guy. And then one time I was working with this girl, and she's like, "Oh, Patrick came in today." I'm like, "Yeah, Patrick came in." She's like, "Yeah, I was just watching him last night." I'm like, on what? And she's like, oh, on Scrubs or whatever, Grey's Anatomy or whatever show that is. And I'm like, are you kidding me? And so I went home and I talked to my girlfriend. I'm like, do you know this guy named Patrick on this show? And she's like, yes, like every girl knows him. And I'm like, yeah, me and him are cool.
Yeah,
that was pretty
you're
cool.
like, don't come to my work anymore.
Yeah, you're not allowed to come before 7 a.m.
Yeah. Other than Wolfgang, do you have any nicknames?
My mom calls me Sasha. That's just an Eastern European way of saying Alexander. My best friends in Chicago, they got me onto poker. They call me Xander with like an X, like Xander. A lot of people in my college call me by my last name, but it's just some German name that stuck. And other than that, no, Alex. But Wolfgang or Wolf is kind of what anyone in poker calls me.
Who was your celebrity crush growing up?
Celebrity crush growing up? Oh man, I didn't have much exposure to like social media and like TV. As I said, we didn't have cable. I'm trying to think like college, like or high school, like late high school, early college, whatever. Maybe like I think that was when Kate Upton was really big. Maybe her. Shout out to if Justin Verlander plays poker, I'm not coming for her. Don't worry. Other than that, I'm trying to think.
What about a celebrity doppelganger? Did everyone?
That I have an easy answer for. Actually, if people want to look it up, it's I had some Justin Bieber pranks that are still out there on the internet, and that was people said I looked like him, like spitting image. I had the flowy hair, and then I had like kind of his like oversized baggy clothes and stuff. So I did a prank where I dressed up like him, and then I went down to the Grove in LA, and I hired a few bodyguards, and we made a video, and it actually got like over 1 million views on like Facebook and stuff. And it got to the point where I was like, okay, maybe this is a career thing. Maybe he'll hire me to like walk out of a taxi and then create a diversion, and I can make some money and just go on cool tours and stuff. That ended up not happening. However, I did end up meeting him because Universal Studios saw my video, and they're like, oh, we're filming this like T-Mobile commercial for only going to be broadcasted in Germany. And from the back, we can put all his like tattoos on your neck and his arms and stuff. And they paid me to be there for 2 days and refilm the scenes that they didn't get quite a good enough shot of him from like the back and the side. And the story gets even more interesting because I got paid for that, but I was only there for half the amount of time because Bieber recognized me from the prank videos I posted, and he asked the producers to kick me off the set because he thought I was a weirdo. And I'm like, I'm not a weird guy. I just wanted to, make some videos and like maybe I was a little bit weird back then. Who knows? But yeah, he was like, yo, I can't work with this guy. So they came into my trailer and they're like, yep, you're done here. We're gonna pay you everything, but you got to get offset because he won't work here anymore. And they were paying him like $1 million a day for this like shoot, and I think I was making like $1,500 a day. So for them, it was a no-brainer. They're like, yep, you're done.
Yeah, keep the talent happy. That's funny. Were you a big fan of his at all, or you was just like
I still am. I
like
love
him?
his music. Yeah, I still am. I was, and maybe not so much the earlier music, but like his, like. Where Are You Now? What Do You Mean? Like all of those songs. His Iceland video shoots. Like he's great at what he does. And honestly, like, not to get into a Bieber tangent, but he's been through a lot, and he's one of the few celebrities that I feel like hasn't really like gone off the deep end and like really shit the bed,
Yeah, he should be crazier, shouldn't he?
Yeah, and that song he just came out with where it's like it's like that really sad one where he's walking like backstage. I don't know, people might know it, but it's just very sad. And it says like everyone like expects the world of him and stuff. And as at a young age, people are just even when I was talking to him, it was just interesting because he was always the one being asked questions. So when there was silence, he didn't really know exactly like what to say to me. I remember when I first went up to him, he's like, his opening line was, "How is your life?" And I was like, that's not something you really like say to someone. Like, that's not an opening line. You're usually like, "Oh, what's up? How's it going, man?"
Yeah.
Not like, "Oh, hey, how's your life?" Like, I don't think he was used to always in the silent moments, like coming up with conversation. It's more like people asking him questions because everyone's just so enamored that they're with like a superstar, if that makes sense.
Well, I'm happy that your Bieber fever, continues even though he fired you.
Yeah, he's a good dude.
Which leads me to my next question. If you could name the entertainment for the Super Bowl halftime show, what would you choose?
Entertainment for the Super Bowl halftime show. Honestly, maybe Bieber, maybe some rapper.
You and Bieber both on stage confusing people.
Yeah, I would do my intro song. My rent got too expensive, had to leave LA, and then he would just do the next 7 songs. Other than that, I mean, I really like rap, but rap doesn't translate well to like I feel like live performances. I really like Juice WRLD, Kid Laroi, Polo G, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, probably Bieber in terms of like making everyone happy.
Are you superstitious at all?
Not really. However, if I feel like I'm jinxing something, I'll definitely knock on wood a few times. And I kind of shuffle my cards in a weird way, like just really fast. And I have to keep my chips organized very well. They're very symmetrical, but I think that's more like OCD than superstition.
What about phobias?
Phobias. I don't like spiders, but definitely not as scared of them as I used to be. Other than that, maybe heights, but I would definitely go skydiving at some point, or like that thing where you go down like a rope, whatever that's called, zip lining. Maybe deep oceans.
Yeah, terrifying.
Yeah, it's just like what's underneath you. It's like you can't see it. However, that being said, like I would surf a bunch in California, and a lot of people, like as soon as we got out of the water, there'd be scuba divers or like these snorkelers that would be like spearfishing and stuff, and they'd be like, "Oh, do you see that shark under you?" And we're like, "No." so it's just like there's stuff underneath you, but is it really gonna do anything? Like I don't know.
What about your longest session ever?
Longest session ever was at the bike. I went overnight for like 14 hours. I'm not a grinder. Like when I hit 5-6 hours, that's kind of like my max at these days. But back then, I did 1 or 2 overnight sessions. I got that $3 an hour, so I think I made like $40 in food comps. It was great. The next time I came in, I felt like a rich man. I'm like, I can get whatever I want on the menu. Dragon Galbi and a boba, sign me up.
Yeah, the food was already cheap to begin with. So.
Yeah, it was great.
Okay. What about any near-death experiences?
Near-death experiences. I don't think
other than sharks.
Yeah, well, I fell down a mountain once skiing. I was tumbling down the mountain, and my dad had to like ski next to me and then quickly like get in front and like catch me. That's because I fell off the chairlift thing. Other than that, I'm trying to think pretty quickly. Near death.
It's all right if you don't have one.
No, we're gonna knock on wood here. I think we're nothing too crazy there.
What's the most famous movie you've never seen that people give you shit for?
Oh, I'm so bad with this. I mean, you could pretty much name any of the famous movies, and there's a high chance I haven't seen it. And that just comes from me like not watching much TV growing up. But like, I mean, for a time there, like I still haven't seen any Star Wars movies. I haven't,
No Star Wars. Not even one.
I've never seen a Star Wars movie. I've seen Titanic now, but like I hadn't seen Titanic. I mean, you could name like two or three movies that you think would be very important that I've seen in my life. Let's see if I've seen.
Like the stereotypical answers are like The Godfather.
I've never seen The Godfather.
All right, Shawshank Redemption.
Never seen that.
Oh, you should see that one. It's a good one.
Yeah, I'll watch these tonight. See, that's what I mean. It's like, yeah, okay, like think of another one.
Well, everyone says Citizen Kane, but there's no way you've seen Citizen Kane.
Citizen Kane, actually. Wait, let me confirm real quick. There's someone in the other room that I may have seen Citizen Kane. Oh, I haven't seen it. Nope, I haven't seen it. But I've seen like the Alfred Hitchcock one, like The Window or something, which is very obscure.
Oh yeah,
but I haven't. No, I thought maybe for a chance I saw Citizen Kane, but no. Nope.
You're not too far off in the era, that's for sure.
Yeah, I'm bad with movies. It's not that I haven't seen them. It's not that I haven't wanted to see them. I just can't get myself to sit down for 3-4 hours. I much would rather watch like some stupid Love Island or Bachelor for like 45 minutes and just kind of like let my mind be a vegetable than like really dive into a movie and like not be able to play Poker Bros or text or like talk to my editor, do anything else of significant value. It's just more like my lack of desire to be there for 3-4 hours.
Do you have any pet peeves at the table? What are your biggest pet peeves?
Pet peeves. Not wearing deodorant is definitely one. Like that when I was in Paris, a few people there weren't wearing deodorant clearly, and it absolutely stunk. Other than that, I don't mind really anything. A lot of people don't like playing with the drunk person who's just like yelling and slowing the game down. I don't care. I mean, I'll just table change if it's that big of a deal. I don't have that many pet peeves, honestly,
And
maybe it's maybe when someone calls the clock. That bothers me sometimes. If you call the clock and it hasn't been a reasonable amount of time, I will get a little bit, what's the right word for it? I'll get a little bit chippy, and I will use the entire clock just in spite of you. But if it is warranted, and if I feel like it's warranted, then 100%, then by all means call it. But there's one time a guy called the clock on me, got really rude even before I said anything, and then I was like, I'm just going to wait for the floor guy to come over and then use the entire minute. And he just like lost it. And it was to the point where then I made the decision. I folded my cards. And then afterwards, I gave him a needle. I'm like, man, what are you calling the clock for? Like, it just makes, you're not even in the hand. Like, where do you have to be? And he was just like saying all this stuff, like I'm hot shit and like all this. And then I looked over at his I mean, I probably shouldn't say this, but I looked over at his cell phone, and he had this like iPhone 2 or 3 or something. And he was a well put together guy. Like, I wasn't trying to financially shame him or anything, but it was just so like pissed off that he called the clock on me like after like 30 seconds or 20 seconds or something. And I look over at him, I'm like, bro, my grandma has a nicer phone than you. And he just he just lost it. And he had to leave. The floor came over, and he apparently told the floor that I was like being rude and stuff. And it was a shit show. So yeah, that is my one pet peeve. Do not call the clock on me like before like 30 seconds. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it's annoying. Especially if it's a reasonable amount of time. We end the podcast the same way every time with a question from the random question generator. You ready? Here we go. All right, name a place you've traveled to that you never want to go back, and a place you still want to go to that you haven't been.
Okay, I'm going to go second question first. Australia is somewhere I really want to go. They have a lot of poker there, really good food, and the people seem really nice, and everyone keeps messaging me that the poker is great there, and it's sunny and surfing, and it just sounds like a dream. Somewhere where I've traveled to that I wouldn't want to go back. I'm thinking of one thing off the top of my head. Let me think real quickly if there's anything better than that. No, I got two. Little Rock, Arkansas, way too humid in the summer. It was a little bit sketchy by the casino. And then the second one, I've been to the city of Frankfurt, but for some reason, my sister booked us a hotel one time in the red light district of Frankfurt, and there was a bunch of gypsies outside that were trying to steal our luggage as we went into the hotel, and it was just a terrible experience. So probably those.
I had a bad experience in Frankfurt too, but it was airport related.
Oh, geez.
So yeah,
that's a huge airport.
Luckily, I have very few listeners from that city, so we're good.
Yeah, my dad was born there, so I mean, we love the city, but just not the red light district. That place is a little sketch.
There you go. Wolfgang, I think that's everything. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast and sharing the stories.
Thanks, Julio, and thanks everyone for listening. If you guys if you're new to the Wolfgang Poker channel, go check me out on YouTube and Instagram. And if I can leave everyone with one piece of advice, it's go for what you are thinking about doing. If you're not happy with what you're doing and you have this inclining to maybe try to make a TikTok page or try to start a club or anything that seems a little bit out there and it seems like a little bit of work and high risk, low reward, go for it, because you never know what it will turn into. And if no one believes in you, I'm definitely a example that if you start something every single day and you're consistent with it and you enjoy it, is something great can come out of it. So hope everyone finds a little bit of inspiration in that.
That's it. That is the show. Thank you once again to Wolfgang for coming on, and congratulations on the million. If you've somehow sat through this entire interview and still haven't looked up a Wolfgang short on YouTube, I don't know what you're waiting for. Go check out Wolfgang Poker, as well as his Twitter, X handle, Wolfgang Poker, Instagram, all the platforms. You can also follow Card Player on YouTube and Twitter. We're not quite to 1 million yet, so we could use the support. Until next time, go check out the website where you can view Card Player magazine for free. You can look up results. You can plan your next poker trip. You could use the odds calculator. You could find strategy articles and a whole bunch of other stuff. Cardplayer.com. Thanks for listening.